Ladies and gentlemen, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you that you are joining me today for another webinar. I am George Anastasopoulos, the Technical and International Business Development Manager of PGLA, and I will be happy to share you my thoughts today on a very interesting topic, competence versus qualification, what really matters in personnel certification. This is the sixth webinar this year on, I hope, interesting topics in conformity assessment and accreditation related fields. And I'm happy to see you again, many of you, joining from all over the world. There is also a Q&A, questions and answers field section that you can type your questions, and I will be happy to reply later on during the presentation. Today, our topic is provided you through PGLA, Perry Johnson Laboratory Accreditation, one of the 4 big American accreditation bodies established in Troy, Michigan, United States in 1999, with more than 2,200 accreditations globally in more than 32 countries. We are served all the world through our main and regional offices, and we are happy to provide you the highest quality of accreditation services in a series of different programs. The general, as you know, programs of ISO IEC 17000 series, but many also specialized specific programs approved by regulators. So with that, I would like to fast proceed to my topic. Today, the discussion is about the personnel certification and about competence and qualification programs. In general, those two words are the key words for achieving the certification. And around them, there is a whole philosophy built in different programs throughout the time, throughout the years. Sometimes I could say confusing, and I hope that today in our presentation I will have the opportunity to clarify the difference of those two approaches and give you a solid ground to take a decision on the appropriate personnel certification program. So what is competence? Competence is defined as the ability to apply knowledge and skills to achieve interested results. This is the official definition provided on 19,011, and we will have the opportunity during this presentation to go in depth. What is qualification? I found a very nice description that I like definition in the Britannica Dictionary, where it's defined as an official record or document, such as a decree, certificate, or diploma, which shows that you have completed a course of study or training and you are qualified to perform something. Very simple, I think very straightforward definition. So let's see, for example, a theoretical and practical example. You are with your friend and she is asking you, do you know how to drive a car? And you reply, I've taken lessons and I have a license, but I'm still not confident behind the wheel. So in that case, the most probable is that you have the qualifications, but you don't have the competence. Because the competence, as we just explained on the previous definition, is the ability to apply knowledge and skills to achieve the results. So our good friend here in the picture, he has the knowledge, he has the ability, but he has to develop the skill. He has the skills, but he has to develop the ability to apply them in real life, in driving a car. So you may ask me, is qualification not important? Of course, it is very important, But qualification alone does not guarantee competence. I have here two very interesting characteristic results from business market, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Actually, it happens to be from IT sector. The common thing they have is that they are both dropouts of their universities, but they are both developed, they built, they revolutionized the personal computing and the IT tech industry. And they demonstrated that they had extreme competence on developing the solutions in IT sector that changed the world. So please don't take me for wrong. I don't want to say don't go to the university or don't graduate, don't complete your degrees. Definitely we should, and we should help our kids and to grow through the academic environment and get the knowledge they deserve. Definitely yes, but what I would like to say with this example is that history is filled with individuals that although they don't have the typical, let's say, credential of a college or university, they rose to executive leadership roles, not because of their academic record, but because that they demonstrated high competence. And this is an example to understand that paper, a degree, a certificate is an evidence of knowledge, but it does not guarantee that you develop the appropriate competence to lead your sector. All the market in personnel certification came to a very stable, I could say, position when the standard ISO IEC 17024, the standard type conformity assessment, general requirements for bodies operating certification persons, sorry, was initially issued in 2003 and introduced us in the world of the competence-based personnel certification. What was there before? We had the ISO guide 62 and 65 standards. In Europe, we had the EN 45013 from 1989, and we have many schemes, so I call them pre-ISO schemes, based on the specific market requirements. Actually, for management system auditors, for example, we had the IATCA program that it is now known as IPC. Since 2004, it was introduced in the global market, certifying auditors now is IAF endorsed scheme. We had the American Society of Quality programs for quality managers, petroleum industry, welders, project managers, many different societies, associations that they are still providing personnel certification in their own way that time each other. But 17024 really came to standardize the industry, providing the specific requirements for the bodies that they operate certification on person, which must be based on demonstrated competence, not just possession of qualification. And this is the big, I could say, revolutionary introduction of 17024, the added value in the process of certification of persons, that it changed the view from certification based on qualifications to certification based on competence. Also, the standard introduced scheme ownership. When we say scheme, we mean certification program, validation of this program to define and validate the required competencies per profession. So the standard provided a comprehensive framework for assessing competence through valid, reliable, and impartial examinations, practical tests, or other evaluation methods. It allows flexibility in assessment methods. It does not provide you with specific methods you have to follow. And it is based on a very clear core principle that competence must be measurable, observable, and independently verified. So all these elements of 17024 are built around the competence-based approach of personnel certification. And it is this one that, as I told you, it changed the world in personnel certification approach. I would like to compare in two tapes, in two PowerPoints, the approach between a qualification model and a competence certification model. So qualification is based in the formal recognition of education or training. Training can be technical training, specialized training, and so on. While competence, it does not require recognition of education, but it is emphasized on the ability to apply the knowledge, the skills, and attributes for each professional to achieve the results defined in the process. So the emphasis goes from certificate, diploma, to ability to apply this knowledge. Very big difference between qualification and competence. And while qualification is definitely needs degrees, diplomas, training, attendance, competence needs demonstrated performance in real or simulated conditions. So certificate of attendance, yes, is good. Transcripts are good, but are not enough. In addition to them, we need practical test, examination, job task observation to see you in position to perform the tasks you are required to. And while in qualification, we only based in a documentation review as a certification body of persons, we receive the documents, the application, the paperwork, the certificates of the candidate. On the competence-based approach of certification, we need an independent assessment of the competence of the individual through oral, written, or practical tests. So the achievement of intended outcomes is checked, is evaluated through those specific assessments, while on the qualification approach, we are limited to check that the papers are there, the diplomas are there, the certificates are there. Still though, qualification can be ISO relevant in specific programs that may support initial eligibility of the candidate, but usually to achieve an ISO IC 17024 accredited personnel certification may not be enough. Characteristics of those two approaches is also that qualification is definitely a static system. You acquire it, that's it. It does not change usually, while competence is dynamic, must be maintained and updated. What is the recognition value? I could say in the qualification, it is limited. There is a value there though, because many programs of certification of persons were very old, developed on qualification systems. They built their brand around them, so they are well known. While competence is much more highly valued by employers, regulators, and accreditation bodies, since we know that it is based on a clear competence evaluation approach, so it is adding much higher value, not only to the professional, but to the employers. Surveillance and recertification and qualification may not be required, or sometimes it could be required, while it is mandatory under ISO IC 17024 accreditation. And qualification is leading in inflation of credentials, over-reliance on formal education, and expectation of collection of many diplomas, papers, and so on, while competence requires a rigorous oversight and it is directly linked to job readiness and update. So we are expecting under the competence approach certification models that the candidate, the professional, is evolving continuously. His skills, his abilities to apply the knowledge and the skills are evolving continuously as the field he is working is evolving. I would like to proceed with an example based on the certification of management system auditors. It is a very old program that was and is popular out there, certification of quality management system auditors and environmental management system auditors and so on. Different management systems now, excuse me, and many different management system auditors. Now you see here the model that was developed by former IATCA, now called IPC, International Personnel Certification Association, which is endorsed by IAF, and it is certifying management system auditors based on ISO 19011 requirements. So what we see on the competence approach accreditable scheme, that it is based, the competence profile is based on many different groups of requirements. First, we are looking, for example, for the quality management system auditor, knowledge and skills related to quality management systems. From the point of the knowledge, but also the point of regulatory knowledge and skills, as or may be required on specific areas or fields of work. This knowledge and skills part is supported by personal attributes, which are consisting an essential element of ISO 19011 and IPC specification. So these personal attributes have also to be evaluated in addition to the knowledge and the skills. Because as I can say, you may be a very knowledgeable and skilled management system auditor, but you are very, let's say, rude. Then this personal attribute will not be appropriate for this profession, because this profession is based on interhuman cooperation and exchange of knowledge and information. So the personal attributes are very critical and very important for a management system auditor. And all that, of course, is supported by the appropriate education, academic education, work experience, training, technical training, auditor, lead auditor training, and of course, audit experience. Now, this is the full competence approach model. There are similar models in the market that they are qualification based. And what you miss over there, you miss this skills part here. Although they will check your knowledge, they will check your probably number of audits or education, they will never check your skills, and they will never check on site your personal attributes. So the ability to apply the knowledge that you will gain on some kind of specialized 5 days course is never really challenged, never really evaluated on an environment that it will check your skills and it will challenge your personal attributes. And this is the difference of a static qualification-based program and a 17024 accredited personnel certification program. So if you lack the skills evaluation, if you lack the personal attributes evaluation, the program cannot be accredited to 17024. Now, with 5 days training course, are you competent to be an auditor? Maybe yes, maybe no, we will never know. Still though, under the qualification-based program, you may be certified. And you know why these programs in general are very successful? Here you see the last question, why It's because the qualification-based programs are cheap, fast, and easy. Because they are based only on training and some kind of experience, provide your CV, a record of some audits you may did, but nobody checked how you did these audits, if they were acceptable or good audits. These qualification programs, certifications assume that the person's education background is sufficient indicator of capability. And they fall short in professions where actual performance, judgment, and applied skills are critical, like the management system audit, for example, I did present you. Of course, they cannot be accredited and they are limited in value. These programs, unfortunately, contribute to confusion among employers, regulators, and candidates. And more importantly, qualification-based programs cannot be accredited under ISO 17024 since they do not meet its requirements for competent assessment. As a result, they offer limited value in environments that they demand objective proof of ability. Still, though, they remain cheap, fast, and easy, okay? Because you understand that if evaluation, on-site evaluation of your competence is required, this dramatically increases the cost of the process of personnel certification. Now, in order to avoid this confusion between qualification-based programs and competent-based programs, in 2013, IAF issued a resolution number 15, that states that the certification body shall not issue both an accredited and non-accredited certificate for the same IAD personnel certification scope under the same personnel certification scheme in our case. This means that the same certification body under IAF, it cannot provide two programs on the same topic. So you cannot have a program in the same moment for, let's say, on the example we already examined, to be a qualification-based auditor, being certified only on 5 days course and some papers of audits, and at the same time, by the same certification body, be certified again as a management system auditor, going through the whole package of the competence evaluated, skills evaluation, personal attributes evaluation. It cannot be happened because one program, the qualification program, is so weak, but if you certify management system auditors in those both programs simultaneously, you will totally confuse the market. So if a personnel certification body chooses to be accredited, they cannot offer qualification-based programs. And that's why many providers of qualification-based programs outside in the market, they choose either not to be accredited or even to apply for accreditation, because they know that the moment they will apply for accreditation for 17024, they have to modify their programs to be 17024 compatible. It means to add additional evaluation processes to evaluate ability to apply knowledge and skills, personal attributes, and so on, that they make their programs much more better, of course, but also expensive and less flexible. So they choose the easy way of the mass sales, low quality mass sales, than the high quality accreditation way. Of course, after all, the market is there, but our role here is to educate the market. Because if you make a conscious decision and you say, yes, I will choose a lower level qualification-based certification instead of the high level accredited personnel certification, if you do it consciously, it's fine. I respect it. On the other hand, of course, the employers, they know very well which program has value and which program adds value to their operation. So, accreditation is the key, ladies and gentlemen. ISO IEC 17024 accreditation safeguards value on the personnel certification process. It defines competence as the core requirement for the personnel certification programs, schemes, as they called in the standard. It ensures fairness and impartiality in the process of personnel certification. It requires valid and reliable assessment methods. This is very important. The validity and the reliability of the assessment methods as required by 17024 is a full science by itself that guarantees and ensures the fairness and the impartiality I just mentioned before, but also that you are going through a valid and reliable process. The accreditation adds independent oversight. It even introduces safeguards in the process of training and personnel certification. For example, the 17024 is considering training as a potential risk if it is combined with personnel certification. So it does not allow you to go on a 5-day course and the same people who are training you are also your examiners. This is considered a standard conflict of interest, and the standard 17024 requires that those two processes should be separate. There should be a firewall in between them, and the examiners cannot be trainers and vice versa. Just an example that I want to give you. Sorry. It enables international recognition because the personnel certification body does not need to establish its brand and its recognition on decades of existence in the market, but through the 17024 accreditation and the MLA, the multilateral recognition of ILA. ILA provides you the mechanism for the recognition of certificates all over the world. And aligns, of course, with employer and regulatory expectations, while it requires ongoing surveillance and recertification. I remember once, as an accreditation assessor, I was visiting a certification body of persons on IT sector. I think, if I recall well, it was an office, some kind type of MS Office certification. And I was checking their really impressive certification process, evaluation process of the candidates with online, real-time IT examination, evaluation, and so on. So on my question, how they evaluate the ongoing competence of the candidate, they say, no, we don't. We issue a certificate. This certificate is for this existing version, and that's it. It is valid forever. But they say the Microsoft Office or the other IT programs, they really evolve continuously. Actually, IT is the sector that we have the most fast changes. So if you are certified as a welder, the probability for the standard to change in the next month or the next 6 months is very low. It takes actually years to update a welder certification program. While in IT sector, the rate of change is so fast that we need continuous support, and this ongoing surveillance and certification is very important. So 17024 does not allow accreditation of such certification programs, bodies that offer programs, that they don't provide an ongoing surveillance and recertification of the professional, because after all, as an employer, I want to be sure, I want to be confident that my employers, the certified people, if I need certified people to be involved in my process, are remaining updated on the technology field operation developments. So that's why 17024 programs always include the ongoing surveillance and the recertification of the candidates. So how to recognize a competence-based certification? So what you get probably a certificate like a diploma. Many certification bodies of personally issue small cards like credit card type. You will see the name of the professional. You will see a series of information that it is required by ISO 17024 standard. You will see the logo of the certification body. If they are accredited, you will see also the logo of the accreditation body, the name, the title of the certification program. So here you can see certified, for example, quality management system auditor. Sometimes you see also a title that is supporting that title, the number of certification, the validity, the expiration of the certification. In example of the certified quality management system auditor programs, you can see also the logo of IPC, which is the IAF endorsed scheme provider. This means that this certification body is also not only accredited, but they are also a member of the MLA, Multilateral Recognition Agreement of IPC, that provides the scheme owner for management system auditors, and also the grade, if there is a grade in the program like lead auditor. So this is a complete, I could say, certification ID that it provides you all the information that you are certified by a reputable and valid system. I would like, as a last step, because I always do in my presentations, to provide you where we are located as personnel certification on the map of the International Conformity Assessment Structure. So I would like to remind you that the whole International Conformity Assessment Structure, and when we say conformity assessment, what do we mean? We mean testing, we mean inspection, we mean certification of products, certification of management systems, certification of people. All this structure is a voluntary structure, sometimes regulated, but mainly voluntary. That it is existing to support end users, consumers, industry and professionals, that they are receiving valid services, they are consuming safe products. And this is done through a mechanism that is operating globally under the IAF and ILAC umbrella, the international associations of accreditation bodies, and they operating in a series of different categories of conformity assessment that they guarantee this high level of quality of products and services. So when we talk about ISO 17024 competence certification of competence of professionals, we are here on this category of the conformity assessment structure, while on the same line we will meet laboratories, testing, calibration, medical laboratories that they are accredited to 17025, the testing and calibration, and 15189, the medical. On the same line also we will find inspection and product certification bodies accredited to 17020 and 17065 respectively. Management system certification bodies, the ISO 9000, 14000 and so on registers, accredited to 17021. Validation and verification bodies, accredited to 17029. Reference material producers and proficiency testing providers, that they are accredited to 17034 and 17043 respectively. And of course, our category for this presentation, the personnel certification bodies, accredited to 17024. So only competence-based certification can be included in this category, and only competence-based certification can bring you as a competent person, professional, in this international structure. Now, who is providing all this accreditation? The accreditation bodies that they operate in more than 100 and I believe 30 countries all over the world. In some countries, you can find many of them. Some countries, there is only one, depending on the size of the country, but also the legal requirements. And yes, the accreditation bodies are also evaluated against the requirements of ISO IEC 17011 by the regional accreditation body association members of IAF and ILAC, who are the international associations. In our region, for example, in the United States, we belong to APAC, the Asia Pacific accreditation system, that it is supporting mainly Asia and North America. In Europe, we have EA, European accreditation, and so on. So this structure guarantees through continuous checks and controls and evaluations and assessments and audits that the products, the services, the certification of persons provided in a global level is valid and of high status. Of course, this structure is supported by regulators, government, who are providing input. Sometimes they set requirements, or they are using the results of the conformity assessment structure. Different interested parties, schemes that are developed by scheme owners, like I gave you the result of IPC, the International Personnel Certification Association for persons. We have also for products, services, and so on. And of course, the international organizations for standardization, ISO and IEC, who are providing the input, develop the standards that all this structure is operating. So when we are talking about accreditation of personnel certification bodies, we are talking for a part of a bigger, larger, and more complex mechanism. The mechanism of conformity assessment that it is here and existing globally, not only to guarantee that in each country, in each market, the end users, consumers, and industry and professionals will receive valid and high-level certification services, but also that one certificate will be accepted globally. And this is achieved through the multilateral recognitions offered by IAF and ILAC through the accreditation bodies who are signatories of those mechanisms. So this way you don't have to duplicate your certificate if you are certified under this conformity assessment structure. I believe it is very important to always have in our mind the map of conformity assessment, have in our mind that if we're working in personnel certification or in a laboratory or an inspection or management system certification body, where we are located on this map, it's like navigated in an actual map while you are driving your car. You know where you are. So this is your GPS, your automatic GPS, because this way you understand your responsibilities, not only to your clients, but also how to guarantee the validity of the schemes and that you offer credible services. This concludes my presentation. I would like to thank you for attending this course. I believe that now it's much more clear in your mind what is qualification-based programs, what are competence-based personnel certification programs, what is the value offered by each program, and the next time you have to select it, select one on a conscious approach. because now you are well educated and you understand very well the value of competence models versus the value of qualification approach. I would be happy to answer to any questions. There is a question and answer block field that you can please add any questions. I don't see anything yet. Everything, I hope that everything is so clear that there's no reason for questions. On the other hand, I always enjoy answering to your questions. I would like to mention that PGLA is offering accreditation to 17024. And we are welcoming, if you're working in personnel certification body, to contact me directly and describe our advantages. And also we are offering accreditation to ASTM 2659, which is a program for accreditation of certificate program providers. We had a presentation before in order not to confuse those programs. ASTM 2659 does not certify professionals. We're talking about certificate programs, training programs. They can be used to support 17024, but they are not competitive or identical programs. So, as once again, I don't see any questions. I would like to invite you in 1 month approximately. Oh, there is one question from Abgilas. Could you please type your question, Abgilas, on the question and answer section? What I did, I opened your microphone. You can ask. You can use your microphone to raise your question, though your microphone looks muted. So I see raised hands. Please, it will be appreciated if you could.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, hello. Okay.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, good evening.
Yes, what is your question? First, I would like to thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. I would like to let me know whether you are conducting training program for IS 17025 or the programs related to NABL things.
Look, PGLA is providing a series of programs. Some of them are free of charge. Some of them are with charge. So if you enter our website, pglabs.com, and you go to training programs, you will find what programs we offer. Now, if there is a specific request for a customized program related to accreditation, of course, issues, we don't offer other types of programs, you can contact me. We can work out your specific needs. Thank you very much, Abilas. And
thank you. Thank you.
I will like Mohammed. Mohammed Sarfaraz, please, your question. Mohammed, you are muted, but I opened your microphone. Hello, Mohammed, can you hear me? You can raise your question. Mohammed Sarfaraz Ansari. Hello. Also, Asma Bazi. Asma Bazi, you can ask your question. Your microphone is released. You are just muted. You have to unmute yourself. Mohammed or Asma, you are welcome for your questions. Unfortunately, I don't have the question. So last call for questions there.
I do see one in the Q&A little discussion portal.
Let's check it. Very good. Now I can also see. The question is from Dr. Atul Kumar Gupta. ISO 17024 is going to revise. How is the impact in accreditation? Nice question. Yes, we follow up carefully, closely, I could say, the process of 17024 approach, the new version. Now, the competence is there, remains there, nothing changes. So whatever we said today is fully 100% applicable. Some new issues are introduced in the new standard related to artificial intelligence and usage and implementation of artificial intelligence, which is interesting. It will mildly affect accreditation. But the main element requirements on the operation of certification body of persons are there. So if you are already accredited to 17024, minor issues to upgrade. If you are not actually using AI or planning to introduce AI in your programs, there are no any significant changes that you should worry about. Thank you very much, Dr. Atul. Any other questions? So as long as I don't see any more questions, you are also welcome, even after the course, to send me requests at my email you see on the screen, and I will be happy to reply directly to your questions. Also, if you need a copy of my presentation, the PowerPoints, please, you can contact me again on that email or the organizers, our organization, PGLA, and we will provide you a copy of the PowerPoints. Thank you very much for joining me. And I am inviting you next month, end of next month, close over there, to another interesting webinar from PGLA. This is George Anastasopoulos. It was a pleasure to be with you today, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are located in the world. Goodbye to everybody. Take care.